Blessings and welcome to the path to freedom. This wonderful path and this wonderful journey, this wonderful adventure inwardly, mind us, mind you, mind me, where we continuously get to set ourselves free from the small, the limited, free to soar, to shine, to glow beyond anything that we've ever imagined, free to allow forever greater and grander expressions of who and what we are to emerge, free to be in ever expanding love and joy and harmony and wholeness and beauty and all of that. And so this is such a beautiful adventure that we get to partake in. No one is forcing us. We get to choose. And there are so many individuals on this planet that would love to be able to walk this path, that would love to be able to spend time going within, but for whatever reasons, they cannot. They are in survival mode or just trying to make it through the day, we get to. So it is a privilege, it is a blessing, it is a gift that we get to wake up, that we get to transform our lives forever and for the better, over and over and over again. So I'm grateful that I'm here and I'm grateful that you're here too as well, that we get to walk this path together, that we get to commune, that we get to hang out, that we get to co-participate in the expansion of the collective, in the unfolding of the collective human consciousness. Let me put it that way. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and I just said that I'm grateful. I am grateful that you're here. Thank you so much for tuning in, for participating, for joining into this space as we explore something that I am becoming increasingly aware of in my own life. The topic for today is we all get to choose our experience. We all get to choose our experience. And for these last few months, Jesus' words where he said, "Be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world." And my own affirmation, or it's not mine, but an affirmation that I caught a few months ago that goes, "Relax, rejoice, and simply be." And these two, so joy and rejoicing and celebrating, which is another term that has sort of come to me recently, that we are to celebrate our way through life. That this, I'm being moved into an expanding awareness that this truly is a choice. It's not moving through a space, kind of challenging space, that it has lasted for a number of weeks, and it will continue to last for a couple of weeks. A space where I do not find much joy being in this space. It doesn't soothe, it doesn't cater to my soul's calling. It doesn't really allow me to serve according to my mission. So this is it's a space that I need to move through. It's a space that I said yes to it. I accepted it as I was being asked to perform this particular service 6 months ago. I said yes to it. And so it's just for me to move through the space. But it is a challenge for me to stay in a high vibration moving through this space. It is a challenge for me to stay in joy moving through this space. And so a beautiful theme that is emerging into my life is just that we all get to choose our experience. So moving through this space, I could easily turn my attention toward all the things that would make my vibration go low. I could very easily turn my attention toward being a victim of this space, being a victim of conditions and circumstances, being a victim of things outside of my control. Yes, I did say yes to this space. I felt I needed to. I'm not going to go into details as to what this space is or why I needed to, why I felt that I needed to say yes to this space. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I am really choosing to stay in joy, to stay in harmony, to stay in rejoicing, to stay in celebration, to stay in gratitude, to stay in thankfulness. I'm really choosing it over and over and over. It's not easy to make these choices, and obviously and honestly, I'm not always able to make these choices. Like I had a couple of days ago, it was a terrible day, vibration wise. I was in such a funk, in such a low vibration, in such a foul mood, and there was nothing I could do to lift myself up out of it. So I moved through that day. The day passed. I was able to go to sleep. I woke up the next day, and it was a new day. But the point being is that regardless of conditions and circumstances, we always have the choice where we want to turn our attention. And whatever we turn our attention to, it is our perception that brings about our experience. So two individuals can have the same, they can be in the same condition, but have completely different experiences because they are having completely different perceptions. One may have judgments about this not being what it should be. This should be something different. This is wrong. This is bad. This is not supposed to be. The other individual can have a completely different perception. So they can be in the same space, but having different experiences of that space. And that is the point of all of this, that we absolutely get to choose our experience. We don't always get to choose the conditions that find themselves into our lives. We don't always get to choose the individuals, the people that we hang out with. Like I was having a conversation with an individual, a client, a couple of weeks ago, and they had gone to some sort of therapist. And this therapist had shared with them that they used a prayer. They asked God to remove all the people that were draining their energy, that were depleting their energy. And this individual shared this with me and asked my opinion of it and what I thought of it. And obviously I have no opinion about it. We're all free to make whatever choices we are making. But to me, I would lean in a different direction. I would, rather than asking God to remove all the people that bring me down, I would lean into affirming that regardless of who is coming into my awareness, regardless of who's coming into my consciousness, I get to stay in a high vibration. So I'm not making myself, so I would not make myself a victim of any other individual, but I would affirm my own sovereignty. I would affirm that my experience is one of being in a high vibration, is being one of being of joy, is being one of being of kindness, of love, of harmony, wholeness, regardless of who comes into my experience. We all get to choose our experience. We get to choose the purview. We get to choose the perspective. Granted, given, we need to be aware that we have these choices. Unless we are aware, choice is a function of awareness. So unless we are aware that we have the ability to choose our experience, we're not going to be able to make that choice. But we're going to be like leaves to the wind. Something good happens, our experience becomes joyful and pleasant. Something seemingly bad or negative happens, and our experience become accordingly, right? But we want to take our power back. We want to take our minds back. We want to assume responsibility for ourselves and our lives and our vibration and our experiences. Responsibility simply means the ability to respond. So just as Jesus said, be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world, what he was saying was that even in the midst of this condition, this circumstance, trust that all is well. Because all is well, ultimately. There is only one benevolent, loving presence that is always for itself, that is always expressing itself perfectly. So even if we cannot see it, everything is working for our highest good. Something wonderful is always happening. So all is well, always. Even when circumstances and conditions may seem to be something different. And as we lean into trusting and surrendering, as we lean into knowing that all is well now, as we consciously make this choice, our experience becomes one of knowing that all is well. So our attention is pulled and turned toward the good that is here, toward the good that the gifts and the blessings that are in every single moment. So in this moment, let us take a couple of deep and conscious breaths, having a moment of resetting, reclaiming our minds, breathing in. And releasing. Breathing in. And releasing. So the question we want to ask ourselves is, how do we want to move through life? Do we want to move through life as victims, as leaves to the winds, just being pulled and tugged and pushed and hijacked by conditions and circumstances, by the opinions and judgments and stories and beliefs that we hold on to, that flow into our awareness, that other individuals buy into, those of the world, the collective human consciousness? Or do we want to move through life responding to life, choosing our own experience, having a beautiful time, relaxing, rejoicing, simply being in gratitude, in thanksgiving, appreciation, celebrating our way through life, dancing our way through life? We get to choose. No one else is going to choose it for us. No one else could choose it for us. We get to choose. We get to choose. A moment to moment to moment to moment choice that we get to make. So we want to stop on a regular basis, coming back to the breath, checking in, witnessing and observing where we are in vibration, where our attention is being turned. What are we buying into? What are we holding on to? Are we in a high vibration? Are we making choices that sustain, that support, that serve as being in a high vibration, being in the feeling tone that all is well, being in joy, being in harmony, being in wholeness, being in abundance, being in beauty, being in love, being in kindness, being in compassion, being in forgiveness? Or are we making choices that do not support this? We get to choose. That is you and me. We get to choose. We get to choose our experience. We get to choose to either buy into, hold on to, complaining, bemoaning, regurgitating, whining. Or we get to turn into giving thanks, coming back to thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you that I'm alive. Thank you that I'm awake. Thank you that I'm aware. Thank you that I get to breathe. Thank you that I get to have health. Thank you for the peace that is here. Thank you for the joy that is here. Thank you for the wholeness that is here, the abundance that is here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We get to choose. It is a moment-to-moment choice that we get to make. And we need to make it over and over and over again, using our moments in between to the best of our ability to make these choices over and over and over again, so that they become a way of life, so that they become habitual of moving through life with a smile. Which doesn't mean that we're always happy, but it means that we stay in a high vibration. It means that we stay in expanded consciousness, that we're not giving conditions and circumstances to contract our consciousness, to pull us into the lower vibrations of fear, worry, doubt, a sense of lack, separation, scarcity, not enoughness. We get to choose. We get to choose. So let's have another moment of resetting, reclaiming our minds, taking a deep breath in. And releasing. And releasing. Breathing in. And breathing out. So this is the invitation for us to become mindful, to become aware of who are we, what are we giving our attention to? Are we giving our attention to something that sustains our funk, to sustains the fear, the worry, the doubt? Or are we giving our attention to something that lifts us up? What are we looking for in the world? Are we looking for validation to our victim stories, our blame stories, our lack and scarcity stories? Or are we looking for validation of the good that is always here, the benevolence of this benevolent, loving presence, the goodness of it? Are we looking for abundance, wholeness, beauty? So that we increasingly, expandingly become aware of where we're turning our attention, so that we can more and more consciously participate in inviting, allowing for wonderful experiences to flow into our lives. Cool. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in, participating. Until we meet again, I absolutely, as always, bless our days. I bless our ways, in the full knowing that all is well, that something wonderful is happening, that everything is working for our highest good, the perfect preparation and unfolding is always happening. With much love, many blessings. Namaste.